Well, what is up, guys? So tonight I thought I would do a video that, well, this is one of the videos that I wanted to do yesterday but didn't get the opportunity to do it because I wasn't feeling 100% yesterday, but I decided I'll do it today instead. So, just a bit of saliva. So let's talk the inghams Christmas vlog. So the Christmas Day vlog was just an absolute nightmare. Like the the mountains upon mountains of presents. The way that looking at the way that Sarah had gone so over the top, it was just crazy, and you kind of get an idea of why they do that. It's about money and views. That's why. Like having watched their vlogs for so long, it's kind of become clear that the big reason behind a lot of the things they do is money and views. That's the biggest thing, the biggest reason behind a lot of what they do is money and views. The only reason that Sarah went out and bought, mountains upon mountains upon mountains of presents was so that they would get the extra view, so they would get a shite ton of views on the Christmas Day vlog, because they wanted the Christmas Day vlog to do well in terms of views, and it kind of did. I mean, okay, it hasn't really done as well as previous years, but it's still done pretty good in terms of views. It's still gotten the sort of views that they would have been hoping it was gonna get. They probably at least it got over 100,000 views, which is the main thing. There's not been hardly any of their vlogs they've uploaded this year have actually managed to get near that. But it obviously kind of showed me, kind of proves the point, the fact that the only vlogs that they're actually making any sort of money from now is the Christmas vlogs. Because they're not really, you've got to think about it, they're not making any, they're not making much money from the other vlogs, they upload now. It's only the Christmas vlogs that are still bringing them in a decent amount of money every year. That's no word of a lie. I was watching the Radfords and I was also watching the Sullivans' Christmas Day vlogs, and I felt like they weren't as bad as the inghams. I think, I mean, it was still pretty crazy, but they hadn't gone like crazy to the levels that Sarah Ingham had gone. I feel like Sarah Ingham went way too over the top. And I think a lot of people had that opinion that she'd gone way too over the top, but it's, become very clear why she did that. She obviously did that because they wanted to get, a shite ton of views on the Christmas Day vlog, which is, what it's all about. Everything they do is about money and views. That's why they do, that's why they do a lot of the things they do, is for money and views. It's like just absolutely ridiculous. I did feel sorry for the kids, obviously having to perform for the Hammers on Christmas Day. No child ever deserves that. No, whatsoever. I mean, obviously, it just felt like, I think, the amount of Christmas presents just felt so unnecessary, especially when you think about the fact that they're going to be away travelling so much, so like half of those toys aren't going to get played with because they can't take all that stuff back with them when they go back to Dubai. And they're saying about how they're going to be spending most of the year in Dubai next year. So it's like how, obviously most of, there's going to be a lot of that stuff that's being left behind in the UK. So they're not going to really get a proper opportunity to play with a lot of the things that Sarah brought. As I said, it's just, it's crazy the lengths that some of these family vloggers would go to just for those few extra money, extra money and views, I mean, yeah, for a lot of family vloggers, Christmas vlogs are the vlogs that do make the most money, so obviously they're going to want to do whatever they can to really pull in the good view counts. But it's just ridiculous. I mean, to think about the fact that the Christmas vlogs have actually scored more views than the birthday vlogs is actually hilarious. Because the birthday vlogs didn't do any good this year, but the Christmas vlogs did. You know, they did way better than what the birthday vlogs did this year. You know, Christmas vlogs have done better than most of the vlogs that they've uploaded this year. You know, I mean, we all knew that their views were going to jump up again around this time of the year, though. They always do. They sort of jump up for a few days over the Christmas period, and then they start, going down again. They go back to the usual view counts. Because the vlogs go back to being shit again, like they always do. And I don't doubt that when they go, so they'll probably be going back to the art again in the new year. I don't doubt that the views will drop again because people won't be interested in watching those vlogs. Those vlogs didn't exactly do the Arctic road trip vlogs this year didn't exactly do any good. It didn't do very well in terms of views. So I doubt the next year's Arctic road trip is going to do any good in terms of views. To be fairly honest, I know that probably does sound a wee bit critical, but it is what it is. I mean, there's no words, to really describe how crazy, it is. Like, it's just madness. It's all for the money and the views. That's all it's for. Like, it's not for anything else. It's just for the money and the views. Simple as that. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. It was just horrendous. It was horrendous. It was obscene. It was just an absolute nightmare of epic proportions. It's like, seriously, I don't think anyone went as mad as the Inghams did, as Sarah Ingham did. As people, the thing is, most people don't feel the need to go that mad. Even if a lot of people had the money to do that, they wouldn't go that mad. Because they wouldn't see a reason to do that. But obviously, they were really keen to get the extra money and the views, which they knew they would get. They know that the mountains and mountains upon the mountains upon mountains upon mountains of presents always bring in the views, which is why they do it. They've been criticised. That's one thing they've been criticised for, quite a lot in previous years, is the fact they go so over the top with the Christmas presents. But I think people need to actually look at why they do it and what they, and look at what they did, the reason to say, that they go so over the top. It's all for money and views. That's all it's for. That's the only reason they do it. There's no other reason for why they go so over the top. It's, apart from the fact that they want the extra money and the view, they want the extra money and extra views. And they know that the Christmas, they know that if they go out and buy piles upon piles upon piles of flipping Christmas presents, the Christmas vlogs will do very well, which ultimately they did. Albeit obviously they haven't really done as well as, as the previous Christmas vlogs have done, but they still did pretty well in comparison to most of the vlogs that have been uploaded this year. And I think that, there was a lot of wake-up calls in that Christmas vlog. Like the fact there was like gold stars on some of the presents. Like, was that not a wake-up call for people? Like, that should have been a wake-up call for people. That it was unbelievable, just unbelievable. I really don't know what else to say. It has to be the worst vlog I've seen. As I said, the Radfords weren't too bad, and even the Sullivans, weren't too bad. Like, it didn't feel like they had got, they kind of went crazy, but it didn't feel like they'd gone, over the top to the level that Sarah Ingham went to. I feel like Sarah Ingham went way too over the top, And you think about, as I said, you've got to think about the fact that most of the toys and stuff that she brought won't even get played with because they're going to be going back to Dubai, for most of the year next year, which is what they've said. And it's like they won't be able to take all those Christmas presents and stuff with them back to Dubai. So a lot of those toys will obviously be left in the house here in the UK. So it's like, well, what was the point in that? This is a big thing with them, is why so, such a, this was one of the reasons why I was a little bit, kind of confused as to why Sarah and had gone so over the top, is it felt like it didn't make sense, considering they were all, they're all going to be going back to the UK, and half of those presents won't even be, probably won't even be going back to, Dubai with them when they go back there. They'll obviously be being left here in the UK, because they won't be able to take all that stuff back with them. There's no possible way. Or they can they'll be able to take all of that stuff with them back to Dubai. It's just not, it's just not doable. If they manage to, they'll be flipping, it'd be flipping mad if they actually manage to do it. But, it's like they don't think about things like that. All they care about is the money, views, and content. Simple as that. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for another one soon. Bye bye.